Inferno, Canto 8. In answer to a signal from the tower, Phlegyas, the ferryman of the lake, speedily crosses it, and conveys Virgil and Dante to the other side. On their passage, they meet with Filippo Argenti, who is immersed by his companions in the lake. They arrive at the city of Dis, their entrance disputed by a numerous band of demons, who close the gates against them.
Ere we had reached the lofty castle's base, my wondrous history I here renew. Our eyes were raised upon its top to trace two little flames which there were seen to rise. Another answered, so remote to view, we scarce discerned the glimmer with our eyes. Then to the sea of knowledge turned, I said, wherefore this signal? Why that answering light? And who are they by whom these flames are fed? What now advances o'er their gloomy tide is surely, he exclaimed, within thy sight, unless indeed the marshy vapors hide. With greater speed did never arrow fly forth from the string and cut the yielding air, than o'er the stream approaching met mine eye a little bark that skimmed along in haste, steered by a single boatman, who aware cried out, "Fell soul, art thou arrived at last?" "Phlegyas, Phlegyas," the outcry thou dost make for once avails thee not, exclaimed the sire. "We stay not with thee, but to cross the lake, as one who of some monstrous fraud hath heard practice upon him, gives his soul to ire. So Phlegyas stood, to sudden anger stirred, into the boat descended then my guide, and as he entered bade me follow too. Till I embarked no burden pressed the tide. Soon as we both were seated in the punt, away it went, and with its ancient prow cut the black wave more deeply than 'twas wont. Whilst we were hurrying o'er the stagnant slime, one rose before me, smeared with mud, and cried, "Say, who art thou who comes before thy time?" "I come not to remain, but who," quoth I, "art thou who hast thyself so brutified?" "Lo, one I am who weeps," was his reply. And I to him, "With weeping and with woe thy fitting company, cursed soul, remain. All muddy throughout thy art, thy face I know." Then to the boat his hands in rage were thrown, whereat the master drove him back again, exclaiming, "To the other dogs, be gone!" Around my neck his loving arms he flung, and kissed my cheek. "Indignant soul," said he, "how blessed the mother from whose womb you sprung! He, when alive, was arrogant and proud, no deed of goodness decks his memory. Therefore his shade assumes this furious mood. On earth how many deem themselves great kings, who here like swine shall wallow in a sty, and leave a name that vile remembrance brings. Oh, what delight would it afford my heart to see him plunge within the pool," said I, "ere from the filthy waters we depart." Then he to me, "Thou shalt be satisfied before the infernal shore appear in sight. 'Tis meet that such a wish be not denied." Soon after I beheld the muddy crew set on him with such violence and might. Thank God, I think, for granting me the view. "Down with Argenti!" shouted one and all, and with his teeth his savage wrath to vent, himself this furious Florentine did maul. We journeyed on, so him no more I name. Then smote mine ear a loud and shrill lament, whereat I stretched mine eye to whence it came. "Behold, my son," to me the master cried, "we now draw near the city named of Dis, where crowds of wretched citizens reside." "Master," quoth I, "already I discern its bright vermilion mosques in the abyss, which, as in furnace heated, seem to burn." "The fire," he said, "that glows eternally within the walls, that ruddy hue supplies, which in the infernal valley thou mayst see." Then we arrived within the trench profound that compasseth this wretched land of sighs, and famed from iron seemed the walls around. A tedious circuit made, at last we came, where, "Lo, the entrance! Quit ye now the boat!" we heard the pilot's thundering voice exclaim. More than 1,000 on the gates I spied, rained down from heaven. Disdainfully they shout, "Say, who is this that death's dread power untried stalks through the dusky regions of the dead?" His wish for secret conference to show, my sapient guide to them a signal made. Their mighty wrath they somewhat then forbear. Come thou alone, they said, and let him go who so audaciously hath entered here. Let him retrace his foolish steps again, with none to lead him through this darksome land, for thou his escort shall with us remain. Think, reader, how disconsolate was I, hearing the malice that their words contained. I thought I never should return on high. O thou dear guide, whose safety hast bestowed 7 times at least, and borne me scatheless through, when direst peril had beset my road. O leave me not, I said, in this dismay, and if such dreaded obstacles ensue, together let us speed our backward way. Then answered he, my kind and faithful guide, fear not, for none a passage can deny. By one so potent is our strength supplied. Wait my return, and feed thy heavy sprite with goodly hope, for be assured that I will ne'er desert thee in these realms of night. He thus departs, abandoned by my friend. Alone I stand in sorrowful suspense, while no and yes within my heart contend. Nor could I aught distinguish what he said, but scarce had he begun a conference, when back within the walls they quickly sped. Against my master's breast our enemy, the portals closed, shut out, he came away. With tardy footsteps turning back to me, downward his eyes were bent, and from his brow all boldness gone. In sighs he seemed to say, who hath denied me these abodes of woe? He then addressed me, but not thou afraid at this my wrath. Our way shall still be won, whate'er resistance may within me made. Not we the first their insolence to prove, for erst at a less secret gate 'twas shown, which now unbarred thou hast beheld above. Its deadly words engraved thou didst descry, already passing through the circles vast. One cometh unescorted from on high, but whose assistance shall the gate be passed?